In the previous couple of sections, we have learned about pack, grid and place geometry manager. In this section, we will strike a difference between all of them. So our first basis of differentiation is sequence. So pack puts the widget in the order of their placement, whereas in grid, widgets order can be changed by changing the values of rows and columns. Widgets can be placed anywhere on the Tkinter window. So let's go ahead and see this in the practical. So I have created a small program to demonstrate the differences. In this output, you can see that the pack widget has been positioned on the screen in the stack format. So in the source code, you can see that whichever widget has been placed first is appearing on the top, followed by second and third. In case if you want to change their arrangement, then you can change it by changing the position of the widget from here. So now you can see that 2 is appearing on the top, 1 is appearing in the center and 3 is appearing at the bottom. So but in case of grid you can see that this is how the widgets are appearing, and if you want to change the position of any of the widget, like 1 2 3 5 is written, you can simply go ahead and change the value for rows and column. So let's make the one at the position of number 3. So if I will simply change the number of column over here, now you can see that number 2 is appearing at first, number 3 is appearing second, and number 1 is appearing at the end. So this way you can change the arrangement of widgets in grid. This is the example for place geometry manager. In this you can see that we have text 1, text 2, text 3 and text 4, which are positioned using the place geometry manager. If we look at the source code, you can see that we have placed each widget using the x and y coordinates. You can also use relative positions like RELX and RELY. In place, if you won't provide the x and y position or relative position, it won't appear, the widget won't appear on the screen. For example, for the text 5, you can see that we have not provided any information, like we have not provided x and y values. That is why it is not appearing on the screen. If you want to change the position of this widget, simply go ahead and change the value for x and y. Let me go ahead and make the number 4 as number 1 and number 1 as number 4. So I will simply go ahead and change number 10 to 50. Now you can see that text 1 is appearing at the bottom and text 4 is appearing at first. So this is how you can arrange the sequence of each widget in different geometry managers. Our second basis for differentiation is behavior with other geometry manager. So pack cannot be used with the grid geometry manager and grid geometry manager cannot be used with pack geometry manager. But place geometry manager can be used with both of them. If I just go ahead and change this value from pack to grid, you will see that there will be an error. So this is the error that you will get when you will try to add grid geometry manager on the same window where you have already used pack geometry manager. Same error I will get if I will do the same thing with the grid geometry manager. So if I just make the last one as pack, you can see that cannot use geometry manager pack inside. So in order to solve this, either you can go ahead and put it inside a container widgets, but you cannot put both of them on the same screen. On the other hand, if I'll go ahead and use place here and provide the x value as let's say 60 and y value as, now you can see that text 5 is appearing on the screen, and same thing will work for the pack as well. So instead of grid, if I just write place and provide the value of x as 10 and value for y as let's say 20, now you can see that text 3 is appearing on the screen. Same thing can be done on the place as well. You can use the any geometry manager, like you can use grid or pack geometry manager with place as well, but both cannot be used because you will get the same error. Default position on the window. So when pack widget is used without any other option, then the widget appears on the center top of the window. Whereas in case of grid, it appears on the top left corner of the screen. And in place, it won't appear until and unless you don't provide any X and Y value. So let's go ahead and see that. So here you can see that we have simply added the pack over here, and if I will run the program, it will appear on the center top of the screen. So here it is starting from the center top. Whereas in case of grid, it will start with the top left corner of the screen. And in case of place, if I will not provide the value for X and Y, like I did in this case text 5, nothing will appear on the screen, even if I am going to make it full screen. Our last point for differentiation is accuracy in positioning the widgets. So Pack Geometry Manager supplies less control over the positioning of the widget, whereas Grid Geometry Manager provides moderate control over the positioning of the widget, as you can specify the row or column values and you can position the widget wherever you want. But there are limitations, like you won't be able to place it anywhere on the screen, which you can do it using the Place Geometry Manager. So let me go ahead and show you a difference. Here, if I want this text tree to appear over here or anywhere else on the screen, then that won't be very easy. It can be done, but that won't be easy. I won't be able to move it as it is. But in case of grid, I can do that. But there are some limitations. Let me show you that. So here, if I want to position the text 5 over here, then I can easily do that by changing the row and column values. But in case if I want to position it over here, then that will also be not possible, because I have to create the grid over here. The grid cannot be created as a separate entity on the screen. It has to be connected with other grids. Whereas in case of place, you can position the widget anywhere on the screen easily by simply providing X and Y values. With this, we have completed the differentiation between Pack, Grid and Place Geometry Manager. I hope you have understood this module. In the future sections, we will talk about the widgets and where we will be using all these geometry managers as and when required.